Manny Pacquiao would be right in front of me. He would, after hitting me 15 times, and then
Oscar de la Hoya didn't just fight legends, he studied them. From Olympic gold to world titles in 6 divisions, the Golden Boy built his career by learning from the greatest fighters who came before him. At 52, with the distance of time and experience, De La Hoya has openly reflected on the boxers he admired most, fighters whose skill, courage, intelligence, and impact shaped how he understood greatness inside the ring. These aren't just heroes from posters on the wall. They're the fighters who set the standard Oscar chased every time he laced up his gloves. 10. Miguel Cotto. Oscar de la Hoya always viewed Miguel Cotto as the embodiment of professionalism in the modern era. Cotto was never loud, never flashy, and never reckless. What Oscar admired most was Cotto's discipline, the way he approached boxing as a craft rather than a spectacle. Cotto's balance, body punching, and composure under pressure reminded Oscar of old-school champions who relied on fundamentals instead of hype. Even when Cotto was hurt, he rarely lost structure, choosing survival and intelligence over desperation. Oscar respected how Cotto carried himself outside the ring as well, handling wins and losses with dignity. To De La Hoya, Cotto represented consistency and accountability, a fighter who showed up prepared every time. He may not have been the fastest or most explosive, but Cotto's steadiness and mental strength earned Oscar's admiration as a true professional champion. 9. Erik Morales. Erik Morales earned Oscar de la Hoya's respect through sheer courage. Morales never avoided dangerous fights, no matter the risk to his reputation or record. Oscar admired how Morales blended aggression with technique, knowing when to stand his ground and when to box intelligently. Morales fought with pride, especially representing Mexican boxing on the world stage. What stood out most to Oscar was Morales' refusal to quit, mentally or physically. Even in defeat, Morales fought with heart and determination, never backing down from adversity. Oscar respected that Morales didn't rely on excuses or controversy, he relied on effort and bravery. To De La Hoya, Morales symbolized what it meant to be a warrior, someone who accepted challenges head-on and fought for legacy rather than comfort. 8. Julio Cesar Chavez, Sr. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. was unavoidable in Oscar de la Hoya's boxing life. Chavez represented toughness in its purest form. Oscar admired how Chavez applied constant pressure, slowly breaking opponents down with relentless body work and mental endurance. Chavez didn't overwhelm fighters with speed or power. He overwhelmed them with will. Watching Chavez taught Oscar the value of patience and persistence. Chavez absorbed punishment without losing focus, often turning fights around through sheer determination. Oscar respected how Chavez never relied on excuses and rarely showed weakness. To De La Hoya, Chavez embodied the championship mindset, a fighter who understood pain as part of the journey and used it as fuel. Chavez's influence on Oscar was impossible to ignore, both as an opponent and as a standard of toughness. 7. Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao impressed Oscar de la Hoya because of his relentless evolution. Pacquiao never stayed the same fighter for long. He adapted, improved, and reinvented himself constantly. Oscar admired Pacquiao's speed, awkward angles, and non-stop pressure, which overwhelmed even elite opponents. What truly stood out was Pacquiao's humility despite global fame. He trained like a challenger, even after becoming a superstar. Oscar respected Pacquiao's willingness to fight anyone, anywhere, without protecting his legacy. Pacquiao didn't chase comfort, he chased greatness. To De La Hoya, Pacquiao symbolized fearlessness and work ethic in the modern era, proving that hunger and discipline could carry a fighter far beyond expectations. 6. Thomas Hearns. Thomas Hearns fascinated Oscar de la Hoya because of his lethal elegance. Hearns combined height, reach, timing, and devastating power into one dangerous package. Oscar admired how Hearns controlled distance with precision, patiently setting traps instead of forcing action. One mistake against Hearns could end a fight instantly. That level of danger commanded respect. Oscar saw Hearns as a thinking fighter, someone who understood when to strike and when to wait. Hearns wasn't reckless, he was calculated. His ability to remain calm under pressure impressed Oscar deeply. To De La Hoya, Hearns represented how intelligence and power could coexist perfectly in the ring, making him one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing history. 5. Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler earned Oscar De La Hoya's admiration through discipline and intensity. Hagler lived for boxing and demanded excellence from himself every day. Oscar admired Hagler's relentless pressure and his ability to switch stances effortlessly, confusing opponents while maintaining balance and power. Hagler never chased popularity, he chased dominance. He trained harder than anyone and never took shortcuts. Oscar respected Hagler's refusal to make excuses and his willingness to fight anyone, anywhere. Hagler's mentality, disciplined, focused, and unbreakable, stood out as the mark of a true professional. To De La Hoya, Hagler represented the idea that greatness is earned through sacrifice and preparation, not hype. 4. Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard was a direct inspiration for Oscar De La Hoya's own career. Oscar admired Leonard's speed, footwork, and intelligence, but more importantly, his adaptability. Leonard could change strategies mid-fight and still thrive under pressure. Oscar respected how Leonard always rose to the occasion in the biggest moments. Leonard wasn't just fast, he was smart. He understood timing, psychology, and momentum better than most fighters. Oscar saw Leonard as a master of balance, blending entertainment with effectiveness. Leonard proved that boxing wasn't just about power, it was about thinking under fire. For Oscar, Leonard showed how versatility could elevate a fighter from great to legendary. 3. Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran impressed Oscar De La Hoya with his mastery of close-range combat. Duran understood leverage, positioning, and timing at an elite level. Oscar admired how Duran controlled opponents psychologically, intimidating them before the first punch was thrown. Duran's aggression was purposeful, not reckless. He broke fighters down mentally before finishing them physically. Oscar respected Duran's toughness and pride, as well as his refusal to back down regardless of circumstances. Duran thrived in chaos, making opponents uncomfortable and forcing mistakes. To De La Hoya, Duran represented controlled violence, a fighter who turned pressure into an art form. 2. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali stood for greatness beyond boxing. Oscar admired Ali's movement, confidence, and intelligence, especially how Ali defeated stronger opponents with speed and mind games. Ali's ability to control fights mentally impressed Oscar deeply. Beyond the ring, Ali's courage to stand for his beliefs inspired Oscar as a person. Ali showed that a boxer could be more than a champion. He could be a cultural force. Oscar believed Ali's confidence came from preparation and self-belief, not arrogance. To De La Hoya, Ali represented the idea that boxing was as much about character and conviction as it was about skill. 1. Sugar Ray Robinson. At the top of Oscar De La Hoya's list stands Sugar Ray Robinson, the complete fighter. Oscar believed Robinson possessed every tool imaginable: speed, power, defense, footwork, timing, and adaptability. Robinson could dominate at any range and adjust instantly to any opponent. Oscar felt Robinson transcended eras, believing he would excel in any generation of boxing. What impressed Oscar most was Robinson's balance, the ability to be both beautiful and brutal in the ring. Robinson wasn't just great, he set the standard by which all fighters are measured. To De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Robinson remains the ultimate blueprint for boxing excellence. Oscar De La Hoya's favorites reveal what he valued most: intelligence, courage, discipline, and legacy. These fighters didn't just win titles, they defined eras and reshaped boxing history. And coming from one of the sport's most accomplished champions, this list stands as a tribute from one legend to many others.